Hi, I'm Cyndi, and today I will be talking about two books. Um, Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan and Hinds Feet on High Places by Hannah Hurnard. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is share my screen. Perhaps. There we go. Yes, I do. Well, that was quite eventful. Okay. So we have The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan and Hinds Feet by Hannah Hurnard. I'll take that off. So these are a couple of books that I have read over my lifetime. I read them for the first time as a teenager. I started with The Pilgrim's Progress, and then I got into um, Hinds Feet a little bit later. So I have my notes. Let me get my notes up here. These are two stories that are kind of two halves of a whole, which is very interesting. The Pilgrim's Progress is more of an external conflict, and Hinds Feet on High Places is more of an internal. Hinds Feet was written by Hannah Hurnard and is published in 1955 by Christian Literature Crusade. Pilgrim's Progress was written while John Bunyan was in prison and is published by Nathaniel Ponder in 1678. These are Christian allegory and literary fiction. These two books stand out as top tier. And that's not just my opinion, it's fairly undisputed. But they are top tier books in this genre. And although they were written about 300 years apart, they do reveal two different aspects of the Christian journey. They don't really compete for that journey, but they complement one another, and they do it rather well. That's a concept that I've only recently discovered. Now, John Bunyan, he drafted his masterpiece from prison in Bedford County. He was concerned about society's compromise and wanted to push toward doctrinal truth. Whereas Hannah Hurnard wrote in the mid 20th century while working as a Palestinian missionary, which I did not realize for a long time. Meanwhile, she battled anxiety and a persistent speech impediment, stuttering, I think, or stammering. Now, the Pilgrim's Progress, you have your protagonist, which is Christian, although he doesn't really receive that name until further along in the story. He's your basic everyman, and he's fleeing from the city of destruction. He has received the warning that comes through the book, which is the scripture, and also through the encounter with Evangelist. This results in him carrying a very physical burden of guilt upon his back, which takes the shape of a knapsack that might be filled with rocks because it's supposed to be very heavy. Um, he runs into a variety of characters throughout the novel, including Obstinate and Pliable. Now, Obstinate outright mocks him. Pliable is willing to listen, but his listening capacity is somewhat shallow. Pliable goes along with Christian on this journey, only to abandon him the moment they hit difficult terrain in the Slough Despond. Then we meet other characters, such as Mr. Worldly Wise Man, who offers some shortcuts to how this burden might be relieved. And it fails miserably. And then we meet Faithful and Hopeful, who become Christians' companions on the journey. There are other characters, more minor, that turn up later, like Talkative and Ignorance. But they're more of worldly distractions and very minor. Now, in Hinds Feet on High Places, Heather Hurnard focuses more on internal and generational trauma. Her character comes from an abusive home, and she is living in the valley of humiliation. She lives with a group of people called the Fearing Clan. These are her family. There's Miss Dismal, there's Spiteful, and she's obligated to marry someone called Craven Fear. Her companions on her journey are sorrow and suffering, and she has to hold hands with them the whole time. And these, of course, represent internal struggles. Now, then you have the main struggle with Christian. He's resisting. He's resisting evil. He's resisting the world. In Hinds Feet, Much Afraid, as her name is called, it's not so much resisting as it is surrendering. Now, one of the pivotal moments in Christian's journey is at Vanity Fair, where he has to stand off with the world. Much Afraid has to go to the cliffs of danger, while pride and bitterness and self-pity are pretty much an ambush to her self-worth. She doesn't fight that, but she leans her entire weight into her relationship with the Good Shepherd. Now, the two storylines have complementary journeys. Bunyan's narrative ends with an exit as Christian, along with Hopeful, cross the dark river and enter the celestial city, where they find, of course, eternal glory. The lesson there is to keep one's eyes on the final destination. Now, Hurnard, it looks like she's heavily utilizing the Song of Solomon, which I also love. But when she gets to the high place, she undergoes a metamorphosis into grace and glory and is sent back to serve. So Pilgrim leaves this world, whereas she is sent back to continue service. I think it's been fun to look at them this way, rather than just do a review of each one separately. The Pilgrim's Progress is a wonderful story highlighting the believer's public walk as well as a timeless framework for um, doctrinal clarity. Hinds Feet on High Places, on the other hand, provides an emotional baseline for that. I think that if you read one and never read the other, you've missed something. I would recommend a reading of the two of them together. Now that I can see this balance contained within both, I think it's recommended reading for any library, Christian or not. Um, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Uh, both of them together. Until next time.